Hi. Okay, well, you say that you're at present dealing with a situation where I have to be strong, calm, and gentle with a person I see every day from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. And being forgiving is a lot harder than I thought after someone has hurt you deeply and continues to do so. But I do remember Jesus' teachings and strive to do them. I just hope the other person realizes what they are throwing away, because eventually it will not be there anymore. Okay, so I had asked if it was a male or a female, or whether it was a spouse or that type of thing, and I don't have the answer yet, but let me just do a generic, straightforward video on this. Okay, so ultimately, um, you've got to value yourself if anybody else is going to value you. And the indication that someone else doesn't value you may or may not be that you're valuing yourself. So let's talk about valuing yourself. If you value yourself, and I have a number of videos on that already that I've talked with, and I'll do more if I can find specifics on this. If you value yourself in all the ways that I've talked about, that you can create self-value and understand self-value, then if the person is still reacting to you in a way that that is less than it should be, there's two possibilities. Number one, the value that you have isn't perceived by them, isn't desired or wanted or valued. And if that's the case, you have to ask yourself whether or not that person is worth having there still for the long term. Can you enlighten them as to why they need to value what you have to offer more? The other thing is that that person may not be the least bit interested in valuing anything of value, and may just be going through life and they don't care about anything of a higher nature other than what can be obtained in the physical realm. And if they're not getting what they're getting, what they're wanting to get, then they're gonna, slam on you and everyone else, including themselves. So don't feel like that person's not slamming on themselves. The chances are, the way they're making you hurt, they make themselves hurt. But that's not like, oh, well, everything's fine then because they're doing it to themselves too. That's a bad thing. We need to value that person and feel sorry for them, and not want them to endure the pain that you already know that you don't like. We want to do unto others as we would have them do unto us, with love. And if you can't value yourself, that person won't see the value regardless. Now, I value myself. I'm married. I've been married 27 years. I value myself. I valued myself when I got married. I knew what I was doing. I knew how long and difficult the road would be, and I was willing to do it. I'm still doing it. But I've got to say, even someone that's right with you and that you're right there sharing with every single day, after 27 years, might not still get it. And you have to constantly remind yourself to value yourself. In my case, in a lot of ways, I don't think that very many people do get me, including, in the fullest aspect, my wife, even though I'm constantly talking about it and constantly trying to uplift these values for both of us. So if I can't necessarily get any farther with where I'm going with somebody like that, then how are you going to with someone that you've been with less time, or that's less important, or you're just about ready to give up on and you're saying they're going to lose you? So what I would say is, the most important thing is not what the other person does. The most important thing is that you value yourself. But you can't just go around saying, I'm going to value myself, I'm going to value myself, I'm going to value myself, and have that as a mantra. If you don't know why you're going to value yourself, it won't stick. You've got to completely understand why you need to value yourself and why you're worth being valued. And then you have to say to yourself, are there enough qualities in this person that I am going to accept the less than what I would like for them in order to get the good qualities that they also have? But the question should never be, do they have the ability to devalue me or make me feel devalued? That should never even enter into it. So the question is just simply, once you're on the solid about being valued for yourself, the question is simply, is there any chance or likelihood that they'll ever see what you see and grow and become more valuable in their own minds, but also see your value? If there isn't, you can stay with that person longer if you have a commitment or you get something out of it at least that's worthwhile, that you know at least you're not being brought down because you're strong now, you're feeling that you're valued, and you're understanding why, and you see potential, you see hope. So what you can at least do is you can take away the hurt. You can take away the sense that they can do anything to you. You can get to a point where you're bulletproof, they can't do a thing. And then the only question you're going to ask is, what can you get from them? What can you do for them? What can you do with them? Is the positives going to outweigh eventually the negatives, even if not now, eventually? Right now you're feeling pain. You're feeling like this person can get you, can attack you and make you feel bad and devalue you, and you feel that devaluation. Well, if that's what the scale's made of, maybe you're on your last link and you're just ready to cut yourself loose. But if you do a conscious counseling move and you get to the point where you're 100% assured that you're not devalued, that you're worthy, then the pain goes away. Now the scale tilts a little bit. Now it's not anymore about, is what I'm feeling worth anything I'm getting, because what you're feeling isn't bad anymore. So now you're coming from a place of an even keel, a good consciousness. Now you're saying to the person, to yourself, is that person, even though I'm not hurting, am I receiving any joy? Is there any greater potential there? Do I feel I can take them to a higher level, and without me they'll suffer and fall? That's important. I would be willing to go as far as I could go for someone if they wanted something that I felt I could benefit them. A lot of times I have a hard time finding people that think they can be benefited, and so I don't waste a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time that I have to walk to the end of the earth for people. I've had times where I've been for months and months, maybe years, and my wife says, "Why do you give that person so much attention? They're not worth it." I do it because if I didn't do it, I know no one else would, and I couldn't live with that. So if you get to the point where you know your value, and I'll help you more on value if you're not sure of that, and this person can't hurt you, you're not doing what you're doing, staying with them for the value they give you, but you're instead serving. You're there for them, even if you're not getting very much. If you were to cut that, you'd feel less value because you did that. And then you'd always say, maybe that person was right, and I deserved the hurt they gave me. Because here I am, standing strong on a pedestal, knowing that I'm fine, and I'm walking away from them. Does that make you strong? I think it makes you maybe weak if you think you can do something and you can't. I think the time, or choose not to, I think the time to walk away from a person is when you feel not only can you not get anything from them, but you cannot do anything for them either. And that is if they're putting up walls and there's no way you can reach them. If that's the case, you're not getting anything, even though you're not being hurt, but you can't do anything for them, and there's no hope that you ever will. If you don't have a marital connection or something like that, then I think the time is ready for you to leave that person and to go on. But as long as you know you can do something, or there's any indication, then that would be like the person who's the lamb in the pit or in the snare, and the good shepherd goes after them to the ends of the earth, leaves the whole flock behind and goes after them. As long as there's any indication that that person could come, that person could be saved, that person could be helped, then what you would be doing by not being willing to do that is accepting the devaluation that you tried to say you didn't have. It'd be real. Don't let it be real. If you want to be valued, know you'd be willing to do that. Now you're valued. No one can take your value away. That's where some of the value comes from. Now I've got other videos where I talk more about that, but that's where the value comes from. If you know you're willing to do that and you can't be harmed, like I say, you're bulletproof, and you remain so until you walk away when there is hope. Then there's vindication from that person's point of view and what they did and said about you, because you didn't show yourself to be as valuable as a servant for the purposes that we're here for one another as you could have been. Then you'll have to live with that. And that's the pain you'll have. It won't be any longer coming from them. It'll be the pain that you gave yourself. You gave yourself permission to walk away when something could have been done. That pain that you give yourself will now be what you've got to live with. And it'll be very difficult for you to meet and encounter another person that devalues you, and for you to feel good once again because you knew you left these other things. That's what I would be most concerned with. The pain? No. Because you're going to fix that. You're going to be valued to where the pain can't touch you. But to do that, you have to come to this strength of knowing you've earned it, and it's not just a mantra or lip service. Okay, so that's all I can really do right now, because I'm really not even sure if you're married. I'm not sure if it's either a guy or a girl, but that's generic. So I put that in a way that anybody could use that. I'll be glad to talk with you more. Just tell me exactly some specifics, and I'll talk with you more about that. But I think that is the foundational thing of where you got to start off with. And if you want me to talk to you more about it, I will make it custom done. But there are videos of finding self-worth and whatnot that I already have, and you can look through those, or I can post one for you. Okay, so for today, get back to me soon. I'll get back to with you tomorrow. We'll keep this going as long as you like. Like I say, I'd go to the end of the earth for anybody that thinks they can gain anything, because my value comes from being willing to give. So I have to do that to have my own value. And I like to do it. I look forward to doing it. So I hope that that might help a little bit for now, and I hope to be able to do more, and I wish you well with what you're dealing with. As I come to know more, hopefully if we talk more about it, I'll be able to address things closer to you. Talk to you soon.